This is an open letter to James Dolan. Jim, I've been a New York Knicks fan for as long as I can remember. And Charles Oakley's probably my second favorite basketball player of all time. And I love him, so I want to frame that first. But second, and more importantly to the point, I'm a victim of abuse. And that word has weight. Abuse isn't a singular action, it's a pattern of behavior. It comes in many forms: physical, verbal, emotional. But I know as a victim that I don't just get to use that word. I don't just get to say, there's abuse, there's abuse, there's abuse. We, as a society, need to acknowledge that we have a responsibility to use words appropriately. And because abuse exists, we do need to use it. But we also need to be willing to speak to what it is. I saw a video of a man who conceivably paid thousands of dollars for a seat. I see no video of anything that happens before security is interacting with him and attempting to kick him out of his seat that he paid thousands of dollars for after being there for a few minutes. And he reacted poorly. He reacted poorly. They were trying to physically remove him from a space that he had purchased access to. And that is his right as an American. And your staff attempted to remove that right. And he reacted physically, as anyone who knows Charles Oakley for any amount of time knows that there's a reasonable likelihood that Charles Oakley isn't going to have a long conversation with you about how he feels emotionally hurt that you would attempt to do such a thing. He's going to stand physically for for his right to occupy a space that he has paid for, not only with the money of that evening, but with a decade of hard work. And you use the word abuse. There's no evidence. None whatsoever. As a victim of abuse, I see that footage. I don't see abuse. There is a difference between violence and abuse. If somebody puts their hands on me, I'm allowed to put my hands back on them. Shame on you, Jim Dolan. Shame on you for minimizing my experience as a survivor of abuse. Shame on you, Jim Dolan. Shame on you for minimizing the 29% of American men who experience interpartner violence's experience. Shame on you for minimizing the 37% of American women who experience interpartner violence. That's abuse that they experience. What you experienced is somebody who doesn't like the job that you're doing and speaks out. You have hurt feelings. You don't get to make everyone else hurt as much as you do. You don't get to condemn people in the way that they may have condemned you, the job that you're doing, not the person that you are. What you did was called gaslighting. You're trying to convince us to see something that wasn't there. And in doing so, you make it harder for men like me to have people believe us when we use the word abuse. Shame on you, James Dolan.